This is the TheAmpHour podcast, recorded July 6th, 2016. Episode 306, Catlyzing Change Agents.
Welcome to the TheAmpHour. I'm Dave Jones from the EEV blog.
And I'm Chris Gamble of Contextual Electronics.
What's up, nerd?
Hello, buddy. How was your vacation?
It was good. I went to the snow. Nobody knew about that. Well,
right.
I tweeted some photos, you know.
Yeah, I saw you guys built like a rocket ship out of snow or something.
A rocket ship?
Was it? Sorry, what was it?
It was Thunderbird 1, thank you very much.
Oh, you know I wasn't the Thunderbird era.
Right, yeah, okay.
I was more Power Rangers era, you know.
Power Rangers. Oh, give me a break.
Which they're making a new one of, if you didn't see.
No, care factor 0.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's so how was the snow? I mean, so snow, huh? You like wanted to go see snow. You know, we don't go to see that normally around here.
Right, it just happens.
Yeah. It's just called life, man. It's just
right, okay.
It's everywhere.
I don't know why anyone would want to live in that environment. I mean, it's just
well,
I
our
enjoy
cities start on fire a lot
visit.
less. I don't know about I don't know about yours.
It's no thanks. Like there's people who they're so obsessed with the snow they live and they like practically live on the slopes, like they live and work there. No, it's just no. Sorry.
I don't know what to tell you because I've done it since my childhood. So
right, okay,
yeah.
You get used to it.
Although I escape the snow a lot more now these days, so that's important.
Right, it's fun to visit, but
Yeah.
Anyway, it was alright.
I think it's probably a cop out, but I know I get more stuff done in the winter. Not that I wouldn't get. Yeah, I mean I don't know. It's hard to say.
No,
if
I feel
get stuff
like
done
there's
elsewhere.
more hours in the summer. Because there's more daylight. I just feel like there's more hours in the day.
Yeah.
And summer. Thank you very much.
Right. I don't know.
Anyway.
No worries. You're not going to be moving to Cleveland anytime soon, huh?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think that was in the cards either way. So.
Goodness. Speaking of Cleveland.
Speaking of
there is news. Martin, your mate, Martin Lawton. Well, our mate, Martin Lawton.
Of course.
Who's been on the show. But he's your close buddy. You drink with him every week, don't you?
From every month, yeah. We do a meetup, yeah.
Right. And he's given up. Sadly, giving up full time. Had to give up full time video blogging. He's done a video.
He's not giving it up. He's selling all his gear.
But
he's not doing any more equipment reviews.
Yes. Well, he's basically saying that I can't do this full time anymore. I have to potentially go out and get a job.
Maybe, yeah.
And
we'll see. I think he's doing the right thing though. So he's
right.
He's going to be selling off some of his gear, but I'm actually pretty excited about it. We had talked.
Yes, you were because he mentioned this.
Yeah.
I think maybe in his video. You're excited because you and I both like the concept of a minimalist portable lab, right? And we've talked about it on here before.
Yeah.
So it gives an interesting opportunity. If you're going to sell all that gear, what would you keep? What's the bare minimum?
I think you go to nothing and then you build back up. Honestly, like in the best case scenario.
Right.
Well, I mean,
that's assuming you don't currently have the suitable gear.
Right, but I think that's actually why it's a good exercise because, so a lot of people watching his channel, a lot of people listening to this, a lot of people watch your channel, it's people that are getting started, right? It's tough.
Yeah, of course.
It's tough to figure out what is actually, not just what to buy, but the sequence with which to buy, right? I mean, these are all difficult choices, especially, if you're younger and you're maybe cash strapped. And it's just, and they're big purchasing decisions. So and you and I've talked about this quite a bit. I mean, we've talked about, portability kind of also plays into it because it's kind of the same price range. It feels like as well. Like usually handheld, smaller stuff's going to be a little bit lower cost
big
than like
lab bench stuff. Yeah.
Right. I mean, like even a Rigel scope. I mean, it's not cheap. It's not super expensive, but $400 is not a small amount of money.
Well, it was when I was a boy. They were double that. They were $800 even back in the day.
Yeah, I know. You're old.
Anyway.
Yes, we know.
But,
We know.
yeah,
We
I
know you're old.
But I get this all the time. I get emails and I see it on the forum. Should I buy an oscilloscope? I'm beginning in electronics. Should I? Yes, is the answer. There are some essential gear. Like, you can do a lot. I mean, as a young kid, I did a lot without a scope. I didn't get a scope for years. I was a hobbyist for years.
Yeah.
Granted, I wasn't 10 yet, but,
Yeah.
no, for like 5 years or something, I dabbled in electronics and I didn't have a scope. I just couldn't afford one. It was...
Right. Well, and I think it's just that they're more accessible these days, too, so that
of
helps
course.
quite a bit.
Yep,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah, so I'm excited for him. I know it's not like in the best situation, but I think it's.
I was going to say you're excited for him. I think you're more excited for yourself than.
No, I just think it's like sometimes when these kind of challenges come up, like these are
right.
They're solidifying events. You know what I mean? That's not the right word, but
it's like losing your job or something like that. It's like a solidify. Yeah, it's
exactly. Like how that goes.
It's
like
a change
that's what,
agent, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Change agent. Insert wank word here. Change
catalyst.
agent.
Catalyst. That's the word. Yes. And I mean, like honestly, like that can always open. It's you gotta look for silver lining, anyways. So that's I think it can open new venues and new interesting things can happen. So that's what I'm excited about.
Touch wood. Hang on.
What?
Touch wood. That hasn't happened to me yet. I've been. How long have I been doing this blog? Like 7.5 years or something, and there's.
Well, no, but it did happen. I mean, like not like that, but like the change agent for you was losing your job,
the
right?
Altium thing, right? Yeah, the Altium thing, right? That was that made me go full time.
Right, exactly. And it's
but
not
but what I'm saying, it wasn't a bad change agent. I wanted to leave anyway. It wasn't, so it wasn't like, oh my God, now what do I do? It's like,
right.
You know.
I mean, but these things can, you never know what's going to happen from it. It could be bad,
yeah,
but
totally.
I think, I talked to some friends about this. Like, this is if you're in this industry, I think we're very lucky to be in a relatively well-paying industry, and there's a lot of interesting work out there, and it's just you just got to keep looking for it if you're looking for it. I know people get frustrated too especially if they're in an area where they can't find a job at the moment, because if you're locked to a certain area, right? Well, say you're on a continent where there's there's only so many options,
limited opportunity, and you got a wife and 2 kids. Yeah,
right, exactly. I mean, that happens in a lot of situations, not just in a continental sense.
Yeah,
so it's you just got to keep looking and keep trying different things.
I had an email the other day, actually, from the father of a recent graduate who's working in the industry and earning bugger all. I mean, it was like, I don't know, $35,000 a year or something, which is like nothing.
In Australia?
Like, it's practically like minimum wage.
Macca's, right?
Yeah. It's like Macca's, and the guy's a great. The guy's an engineering graduate, and he's working as a technical, almost like application support kind of role.
Wow.
Yeah, so I don't know why his father, I guess his father's concerned and doesn't know anything about the industry, and he contacted me and said, hey, what can I do to help him out? Got any advice and things like that? So I wrote a lengthy...
Well, what'd you say?
I wrote a lengthy reply, and among other things, I... just simply get a better job. I know, and I had to explain to him, I know that sounds like that's a ridiculous. It sounds like a ridiculous answer, but
it's a truism almost.
but it is the answer. I mean, don't just quit your job and go look. But like I said, go to the industrial parks, right? Go walking around, do the hard yards, look at all the companies there, research them, find a direct engineering contact there. It's easy to find direct contact emails and things these days on the web, right? Everyone's, you can almost
what
find
did I find
anyone's.
today? I found one actually.
Right.
So I think we've talked about
someone and you found their email.
No. So we've talked about, we've talked about like the whole networking thing before, right? But sometimes it's hard to actually, so basically if you can go on LinkedIn, right? And you can find someone that you want to potentially talk to. And I'm not saying you should spam people, but if you find someone that you specifically want to talk to,
them.
Well, I mean,
don't form email them, send them a personal email.
Right, exactly.
Spam means you don't personalize it.
Right,
that's basically spam.
Right, you're spray and pray.
Yeah, spray and pray. Yep.
Yeah, and so, but what can be hard is, so you might be able to find someone on LinkedIn, but like you're searching for their different formats and stuff like that. If you go to emailhunter.co,
Oh,
basically,
really? Okay, I haven't heard of this.
You can type in a domain, and you can if the emails are anywhere on the web, it crawls for all these different emails and looks for the format.
And the format, and then you can insert their name in the like it'll be first name dot last name, or
right.
it could just be first initial
or C-Gamel or whatever.
Yeah, or
it is,
C-Gamel
right?
or something. Yeah, and you can actually. I've always done that manually. I didn't know there's a
and
service
you can.
now. Wow.
But yeah, there's a service now, and for better or worse. But but I mean, people are gonna figure this stuff out anyways. Like you could find that if say it's not on this site, you could just go searching for blank at eevblog.com or something like that. And you could try and find it like that.
And then you can find
Sometimes you sometimes won't. I mean, honestly, it is hard to find sometimes.
Well, let's try it. What's it called?
Emailhunter.co. Mine's actually
emailhunter.co.
It's limited on how many you can use in a day, so I've already used mine for today. But you can try it.
Okay, here we go. eevblog.com. There we go. I typed my own name right, and there it is. Dave at 5 sources. Dave at eevblog.
Right, so it's like places that might have been posted on the internet. Stuff
and then it gives you the pattern. First, it puts like brackets first name, so it knows mine's a first name.
Yep.
And wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's kind of nice. And so this is probably a good thing too. So so say you're the person you're advising, or his son really.
Wow.
What should go in that email, right? So I think that there's a couple important things there. One is be upfront, right? Like, hey, I found your email address. I was found you online. I'm very, very interested in your company, and hopefully you actually
totally
are interested. Interested in them personally, right? You don't have to be. Don't be insincere about it. But if you're actually interested in this person, you can play to people's ego a little bit. And
as somebody who gets countless personal emails every day, and has for the last 20 years or however long I've had an email address. Advice emails and everything else, or seeking help or whatever, don't waffle. Just don't spend a whole paragraph explaining, I really like your show, and I'm sorry to contact you, and I hope it's not too much trouble, blah blah. Just get to the point, please.
Right. Well, right? I mean, I agree. You need to be succinct, but it's also it depends on what you're asking for too, right? You can't just email someone and be like, hey, I really like your company, I was hoping for a job. It's like that's not how it's going to work.
No, don't. But don't waffle on.
That's totally agree about that. Don't waffle on, and be upfront. I mean, if you can, if you have something to offer in return, right, that's always good to lead with, right? So start with, so I've been emailing people for trying to kind of find out more about their business and stuff like that. But it's also like, hey, I'm an engineer. Like, I have value in return, and I can, tell you about my perspective on your business, right? So that's something that I can offer. And so, like, I mean, and there's no guarantee you'll be able to do that, but you never know. Like, you might have something where there is some kind of value you can provide to that person. And then at the end of the day, it's like, some of it, like I said, might just be the curiosity and their ego. That might be what you offer them. And hopefully that's in the best way possible. You're just kind of hoping to understand about how they got where they are, what their, what you should be doing in order to get in a similar situation, stuff like that. And a lot of times that just interest will get you in the door, and they'll actually read your email, which is, the hardest part. Now, I will caution people, since Dave's on the line here, just mean like someone like you, right? Someone, if you go straight to someone that gets a lot of email, you're gonna get lost in the shuffle, right? So understand.
But people, if you're looking at it like a public figure, then yes, they will be getting a lot of email. But if it's just, like the head of engineering at some company, they're not going to be.
No, but it depends on the size of the company too, right? So if it's a CTO,
if it's Apple, if it's the CTO
so if
of Apple.
If it's CTO at like a local startup, that's way different than the CTO at Apple, right?
Right.
And you just got to keep an eye on that stuff too. And like we were saying before, just be very cognizant of their time, and not only in writing your email, but also in what you're asking. If you're looking to get on a Skype call, it's a lot different than maybe buying someone lunch, right, where they're gonna have to go out to lunch anyways, right? There's a big difference there, and just kind of keep that in mind.
I can't recall a single instance where I've done this, and I've done this a lot. over the years, like searching for direct contacts at companies looking for jobs. Because I'm always looking for a job, just for fun sometimes, just for kicks, to find out what a company's like and stuff like that. So I just go for interviews, not even wanting the job there. I'm just, actually curious about and keeping my skills up in terms of, being able to find a job.
Knowing what you should be knowing, right?
Knowing
how people are interviewing. Yeah,
yeah,
sure.
Totally. And I don't think I've ever failed to get a reply from somebody I've found a direct contact for. And like I'm talking always like this is like engineering department contact, right? I don't think I've ever failed to get a reply from them saying, and it's usually the response of, thanks, but we don't have anything at the moment, but we'll keep your, they almost all of them say, but hey, I like that you emailed me. We'll, your skills seem to fit our company. And if anything comes up, we'll,
yeah, I mean, you have to have very realistic expectations, but oftentimes, I think having a personal connection with someone over, like the expectation that someone's going to have a job ready and waiting, like, oh, Dave finally emailed. Thank goodness this serendipitously dropped into our lap. It's like, that's very unlikely. But, having another contact or, hoping to see someone at a conference, then like, that's how it's done, man. I mean, like, it's all about just trying to be first on their mind when they're racking their brain. Like when an FAE would come in and be like, "Hey, Chris, do you know anyone about that's looking for a new gig for this lighting company?" I'd think about it, and if I had talked to someone, even an intern or someone new that had emailed me or talked to me, whatever, like I'll there's almost no downside in because I want to also be contacted again when that FAE would have the next job that I might be interested in, right? You want to be that person that has connections, right? I mean, that is valuable in the workplace and in the job market. So it doesn't always have to have beer involved either.
Right.
But it doesn't hurt. Yeah.
Speaking of change agents, I'm glad it didn't happen, but it caused a mass panic on the internet. Lewis Rossman, who you're no doubt aware of, fellow video blogger.
Yes.
Well, you should try and get him on the show, although he'd probably talk.
I think he's probably pretty busy right now, but
he is pretty busy, and he might challenge Vincent Himpy for the longest show ever, perhaps. No, because he does.
First off, explain his background to people who don't know who
Lewis Rossman. He's a repair tech. He has his own repair business, Rossman Repair Group in New York, I think it is.
Yeah, I think he's up in Queens. He said he's like 183rd or something like that. He's pretty far north.
Anyway, right.
Yeah, he's up there. Maybe the Bronx, I don't know.
Geographically. Yeah. Okay, anyway, somewhere in New York, in quote marks. And, he repairs, he does a lot of videos. He does like at least one a day or something like that because he's got like a streamlined automated video capture thing. And he basically repairs, he specializes in repairing Apple gear, right? And among other things, but it's mostly Apple stuff. And because Apple apparently rip off, if you send your notebook back to Apple to be repaired, it's like $1,000 or something, and he'll repair it for, $150, $200 or something. And so he does all these repair videos showing you how to repair, and the amount of content he's got is absolutely phenomenal. So definitely check out his channel and subscribe if you want to know about, component level repair. And he does, like as he's actually repairing, he will do a screen capture like a live. They're very long. They're mostly not edited. So they're like, an hour of him troubleshooting a fault in an Apple laptop or an iPhone or something like that.
Right.
And anyway, so that's what he does. And he did a video the other day. Was it a week ago now? And he basically didn't say much. He didn't name names. He didn't say what was happening, but he just said, he implied, download all my videos now because I may not be here tomorrow.
He didn't imply anything, Dave. He said, isn't it interesting how there's YouTube downloaders?
Isn't there interesting? Yeah, it was so, it was very cryptic. But everyone who's watched his channel knew what it meant. It meant Apple was going to sue him and, or something like that. So that's so it hit, Slashdot and Reddit and every tech website on the planet picked this up and went, Apple's suing Lewis Rossman, even though he didn't actually say that.
Right.
But anyway, it was quite funny to watch it spread. And they're going to shut him down because, he's been fighting for the right to repair bill. I don't know much about this, but in the US, there's some bill he tried to
we had
put through
mentioned it at
Parliament.
one point.
I think we might have.
Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
think when it was because it's it's going state by state around here, and I think the last time we saw it was Minnesota. I think.
Okay.
And yeah.
Right. Anyway, it went through New York, and he was one of the big players behind that. He went and testified in front of Senate or something.
Yeah.
And it lost apparently. But anyway, Apple doesn't like repairers. They like to shut them out and stuff apparently. So anyway, and he had to follow up a day later with another email saying, no, they're not suing me. All I got was a letter from their lawyer. Their law firm who has a history of shutting down.
Yeah.
That's why he
It was
panicked.
probably like a cease and desist type of thing. Yeah.
Well, no, it wasn't. It didn't really say much at all, actually, unless he's done a third video on it. But
I only saw the one, so.
anyway, I
should point
saw
out,
the
too, that
original plus the follow-up.
He did a really good AMA. That's actually I had not watched his stuff prior to the AMA that he did on Reddit.
Right.
And it was really good. He just kind of talks about a lot of the issues with repair, stuff like that. So I mean, repairs.
By the way, on his channel, he does lots of life lesson, business lesson type rants as well, which are some of them are really good. So. Yeah, definitely worth checking out. Anyway, so he said, no, I'm not being sued by they haven't actually sued me yet. And they actually strangely said that they were a fan of his channel, which we're like the lawyers apparently we're a fan of your channel, so which is really strange. Anyway, so this thing totally exploded. Like, they're going to shut him down, and now hopefully it's looking like, they do want to be friendly. And so maybe I think they've got issue with like a couple of videos that show Apple schematics and things like that. I think that's what it might come down to, because Apple don't release schematics. So you have to get them from Russia or something, like you've got to, or some market in Shenzhen.
Well, yeah,
right?
Bunny talked about, finding those in, I think in that video or that post he did about the Gonkai phone. So,
right.
Yeah, well.
Anyway, so that's.
Hope it works out. Hope we can have on the show at some point. That'd be really good.
So that looked really bad. And yeah, I was like, everyone was emailing me, Dave, you got to do a video supporting Lewis. And it's like, but he hasn't said anything yet. I know, like he hasn't even named names, well, what's happening? So I held off. But no, if I would have done something supporting there. But anyway, that might have a happy ending, I hope. So
hopefully, yeah.
It's good. It's all good.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
What else?
What else? There's a giant.
There's some other big ones on the list here.
Big. Speaking of big, the mega processor. Sorry, I can't do a radio voice. Can you do a deep radio voice?
No.
Mega processor it is.
That's not what I was talking about, but okay.
Anyway, I want to go there, and the reason I'm using a Yoda voice is because the Juno probe made it to Jupiter. Yes.
Yeah, you were. Were you watching that, or someone else was?
Yeah, I was watching. I was trying to do a live show. It was a complete balls up. Hangouts on Air sucks ass. Have you ever used Hangouts on Air?
Yeah, I have with you actually.
No, I don't recall using it. No, I'm not talking about Hangouts. I'm talking about Hangouts on Air.
Oh, yeah.
They're
I've done
two
that for
entirely
my course
different products.
in the
Really?
past,
Does it work?
Not very well.
Well, yeah, no kidding. Anyway, so I was trying to team up with Fran. We were going to do like a Hangouts on Air and live stream it while the Juno probe was doing its orbital insertion, and it failed miserably. Anyway.
Well, the probe worked, though.
Yes. And anyway, the reason I did the Yoda voice is because I just tweeted this. The head of the, I'm going to get it wrong, at NASA, the head of the Space Probes Division or whatever it is, the head of missions division his name is Yoda.
Oh, really?
Jeffrey Yoda. But it's spelled E-R.
Last name's Yoda. Okay.
Yeah, Yoda. Last name's Yoda. But yeah, I just think it's cool. And I think he should be the head of NASA because the head of NASA should be called Yoda. It's just awesome. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm just childish like that.
It's okay.
Anyway, this mega processor. Who's the dude that did this? What's his name? I do want to
forget his name.
I do want to.
But this thing is it's like a room size, right? I mean,
James Newman. James Newman is the one who gets the credit, and it's like, it's a room-sized processor. It's like 2 meters tall and 10 meters long, and he's modularized everything. And it uses 40,000 transistors, 42,300 transistors. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It doesn't say. Does it say anything about how warm the room gets too? I mean, like, because you kind of lose. I mean, I know it's not.
Well, he's driving tons of LEDs. Like there's LEDs like displaying the status of everything. So that's the only thing that's going to chew power. Apart from that, it's bugger all.
Well, you get switching losses, stuff like that, right? But,
over the lines. But no,
I don't know
it's
how fast
working.
he's
Like,
actually clocking this thing either.
Well, in the example, he's clocking it at 1 hertz so that you can see it go through. But I think he said it runs at like hundreds of kilohertz or something. It's not.
Yeah, I suppose if you're using discrete stuff, you'd start to run into like capacitive problems on the gates and stuff, making sure that all syncs together.
Here we go. At full throttle, it runs at a whopping 8 kilohertz.
8 kilohertz, yeah.
8 kilohertz, yeah.
Okay, all right, that's good though.
But that's probably all you can do with the capacitance of the lines. Think of the
right, the relative distance between parts on this thing versus on a regular chip. You just have lots more dielectric
Inches.
and conductors, right?
Yep. So it's there's too much capacitance on the line. You just can't drive it fast enough. So
right. Now, do you think it's still? I mean, so what is it? This is based on This is the 8051 or something else?
I actually don't know what processor it is, whether or not it's his own design or... No, somebody else did a 6502 one. But
Eric did the Monster, which is like the MOS 6502.
Yes,
that was the one that was at Maker
that.
Faire.
Yep.
Yeah.
You said, but it's like a desktop size thing, right?
The Monster one?
No,
it was. Yeah. It was like a panel. It was like the size of like a full PCB panel. Yeah.
Yeah, right. But it's a desk size, so it actually fits on a desk.
Oh yes, correct.
Right.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's that. No, they don't mention the processor here, so I assume it's his own design processor. Okay. So just for teaching purpose, I assume he's like a teacher or something.
Yeah. So, well, that's my question to you: is do you think it's necessary to understand processor level how things are working these days?
That's a
good question, right? I'm an expert.
I've got to answer no, and the reason why is because we've talked about this before. There is just more and more things to learn every year in your engineering degree course, right? There's just more and more stuff, and the course doesn't get any longer. So something's got to give, right? And if you're spending a semester learning, as I did, like, Mike, they'd have these custom microprocessor trainers, and it's similar to this, right? You would have all the individual sections, and you could individually, with switches, you could flip bytes in, and you can understand how the processor works, right? And I think it was a Z80 clone or something, Anyway, and okay, it was good back in like the late 80s when I did it, right? But like now, no, like 30 years later, I don't.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I think it's interesting too. Like people that are writing assembly might need this more than just
sure, but that
being
does
closer to the
every
hardware.
engineer. No, I think this is one of the things. What I'm getting at. This is one of the things that can give, right? That we can sacrifice for the greater good of an engineering degree.
Right. You can always dive down through the abstraction layer later.
Of course. Yep. So I think this is one of the things that I think should be culled.
It's tough. Especially with painting with broad brush type of thing, right? So like on embedded, they always ask their guests what language should students learn in school. Yeah. And it's always interesting to hear that.
And
I mean, it's varied. Everybody says different things.
Oh, right. Okay.
Are you asking what I think?
Well, there's only two, right? There's C or assembler, pretty much, from a practical aspect.
I was actually going to say Python.
Oh, right. Oh, well, no, I'm talking about, No, that's a, to
that's
me,
the thing. Like,
to me that's a
is.
different level. To me, there's embedded level, which is C or assembler, or maybe even C++,
But I said
right? And
first.
then there's
you want to learn that
abstracted.
First, or you want to learn that second?
Oh, right, okay.
You know what I mean?
No, I'm a big, I started with basic, right? I'm a big fan of high level first and then drilling down, top down. Yeah.
Right, top down.
No,
exactly.
if you start with assembler or C's a cryptic thing too. Like C's not that great.
We're going to start with C, but we're going to start with K and R and nothing else.
what does main? Why do I have to put main? What does this mean? Like, what's all this bullshit? You know, like.
Yeah, well,
no.
I think that's always the problem with all these kind of things of like asking these questions is who's your audience as well, right? So it's just trying to get the broadest base. And I think like for the processor stuff, most people would probably be better off, I don't know, like understanding how things like we were talking about the capacitance between different components, right? Understanding that that's even a thing, right? Getting to that point and understanding that as you get bigger, you're going to have more and more of that issue because you just have more stuff, right? Just kind of having that general feeling that's an important thing, right? Kind of rules of thumb and feelings about, like intuitive type feelings about basic physical laws and electronics. Yep. That probably has more direct implication on a day-to-day basis than a processor thing. However, if you're an embedded person, and especially if you're writing assembly, then maybe, you need to get down into the register level.
Unless you're doing a specific embedded, or computer science strand in your degree, then that's the only place you should learn that sort of stuff. So, yep.
Yeah, it's tough, man.
I mean, obviously, we're talking about EE here, right? We're not talking about computer science, right? That's a whole different ball game, right?
Something we have zero clue about, even less than our normal lack of knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I did like a class on like a compiler design or whatever. Like, who cares?
Right.
Like,
yes.
I'm not doing a computer science degree. Like, it's just, but it's general. Nah, piss off.
Yeah.
No, it's just stupid.
Well, and it's, there's always going to be specialized areas, right? So we have another item on here. The inventor of the Kalman filter passed away. Kalman filters are not something you need to learn right at the beginning. However, if you're working on sensors or if you're working, with real data, you're probably going to run into a Kalman filter and it's going to smack you in the forehead, right? So
I don't think I can't say I've ever used one.
I have seen the block diagrams and I ran away very fast.
Right. Yeah, it's a bit of a complex beast. The theory behind it is quite,
I had if I'm being completely honest, I had always assumed that Kalman was long gone.
Right, yeah, I don't know a usage, like I've never encountered a usage
No, I'm
case
sorry. I meant I figured that so Rudolf Kalman passed away. That was the news item.
Yep.
I figured that Kalman existed in the early 1900s kind of thing.
Right, but, okay, you just didn't know him. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even know his name,
Yeah.
Yep. Sorry.
Yeah, right. So
sorry for all you Kalman fanboys.
Right,
sad
but
that it's gone.
so if you look at Kalman filters, if you just look at the Kalman filter wiki page and stuff like that, I mean, like it can be a pretty. I mean, first off, it's pretty important. Like I said, especially in like sensor fusion stuff like that, where you're kind of putting a lot of stuff together. But it's all about estimation and feedback of that estimation, trying to make sure that your sensor data doesn't run off into the weeds, kind of thing. I remember actually Dave, the guy who was on last week, he had done I think that was the first time when he was doing his master's thesis, he was telling me about it, and he was doing a pretty good example. He was trying to track where his boat was based on accelerometer readings. But if you think about an accelerometer, and if you think about the errors you have just from small amounts of acceleration, and then you're trying to do, 2 integrals of that to find distance, the error terms pile up like crazy. And so the only way you can handle that is trying to put it into some Kalman filter, and I think it was still ridiculously hard. So
right, I don't think I've ever seen as much math on a wiki page as like for what something you think should be simple, like it's a filter, but no, it's much more than that.
It's a feedback system, really. I mean, but you're right. There is a lot of math in there, and the theory is
there's integrals, and as soon as I see integrals, I run away.
Matrices and derivations.
Yeah, matrices. I used to be a matrices fanboy, but but not
for like Spice or for just in general. Like just
in general. I liked the concept of matrices. I liked solving them, and I don't know. I went through a phase.
It's a weird phase. I pray that my sons do not go through the same phase. It's a deep, dark time.
Anyway, powerful matrices are.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Anyway.
Yeah, well, it is used, I think matrix math is used in, I know it's used in Spice. Is it used in Layout? Is
It is used for
layout?
I believe it might be used for topologically based auto routing. Don't quote me on that.
Is
Why
it based
do you
on
mention
layout?
layout? Because you want to segue into some huge news.
Yeah, it's not that huge, but it's interesting.
It's pretty huge when a major player gets. Well, did we mention it last time that yes, we did. Farnell was sold to Whatsy Nuts, right?
Yeah, the Swiss company. Yep.
Yeah, the Swiss company,
Yep.
Daily or something. Anyway, whatever. Who cares?
Yeah. Right.
Done and dusted.
So we did
Right.
mention that last time.
And then, days after that, then came the announcement that, Farnell, or now the new owner of Farnell's, have sold off Eagle. They
yes.
sold off CADSoft, which they still had as a division, a saleable division within inside
Right.
Farnell, and they sold them off. Rumour has it, maybe about in the $20 million range, 20-ish million.
Oh, really? Oh.
So, yep. On the Adafruit blog, they did an estimation based on the income and the company income, and they knew, or the debt, because there was a sudden reduction in debt in the company financials when the company was sold. So, oops, there it is. They popped a number out of about 20 odd million or something.
Well, so what do you think about this? I mean,
sorry,
I
didn't
have
even say
feelings,
who bought it, who they sold it to.
Autodesk. It was Autodesk.
They sold it to Autodesk, right?
people with large pockets, yes.
Yes. Who now I didn't know some of the companies Autodesk owned, or I did and I've forgotten. They
Such
now
as who?
own almost the full suite of I'm going to have to get the list up. Hang on, I'm going to have to. Yep.
You mean on the ECAD side or on the MCAD side?
On the MCAD side.
So MCAD is what? Fusion 360. I knew that one. I used
Yep.
that one. They have Inventor. They have the whole 1, 2, 3D stuff.
Yep, there's
so
1,
that's
2, 3D, which
catch.
can do simulation. And they've got another one. I think it might. Have they merged it into 1, 2, 3D? I don't know where it came from, but it can do simulations of. They've got a whole simulation thing that can simulate entire modules. So it can simulate Wi-Fi modules and everything. So apparently they've now got a full suite of stuff that you can actually, and simulate processes as well. So you can
Are you talking about like Circuits.io? Is that what you're talking about?
Circuits.io, is it? Yes.
Yeah, so it used to be Circuits.io. That was a simulation
Right.
tool. It's kind of like
that's where it came from. Okay.
Yeah, it kind of looks like what's the one? Fritzing. So it looks like Fritzing.
Right.
In terms of like it's got breadboarding stuff and
all that sort of all that sort of.
So that's Circuits.io. It started as Circuits.io and then they called it like 1, 2, 3D Circuits, I think, or something like that.
Right,
and
something like that.
There is a layout component to it, but about the same as Fritzing, I believe. It's not super.
Anyway, they
developed.
can simulate like an Arduino. They can simulate a Wi-Fi module and everything else. So you can actually. You don't even need the physical hardware anymore. Apparently, you can like simulate.
Meh.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, that's what they're claiming. That's their big.
Yeah.
Well,
they also on the MCAT side, obviously they have auto. What do they call it? AutoCAD. Yeah,
AutoCAD.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, that was them. Right. Yeah. So.
that was their main product.
That was the main one, right? And then, but then the other one is Tinkercad as well. So
Tinkercad, they've got.
web-based.
So they've got a whole bunch of.
Yeah, they've got tons of stuff. Sure.
Yeah. They've got, and now they've got the whole suite. They even got Matt, who you used to work with.
Yep.
And who
as did you.
and who I used to work with at Altium.
Right.
So he's now the head. Is he the head of something or other there? Anyway, he's the one who Adafruit interviewed.
Right. Yep.
And Matt, if you're listening, just answer the bloody questions.
It's just thinking the same thing. Yeah, he'd answer it, but I mean,
there was some like Adafruit gave him a whole bunch of questions to answer, and he answered them. He answered some of them in depth and gave yes and no answers, to these things.
Right.
And then they'll ask about, are you going to go to a subscription? What are your all your products are subscription and cloud based? And he didn't like. It was the biggest non-answer I've ever seen in my life. He should be a politician. Like, I know this probably had to be filtered through their, vetted by their
Well, if you look at the bottom,
marketing.
it
I
says,
saw down the bottom, vetted by 2 marketing people or something.
Yeah. No, I mean, all these were all really good questions, though. I mean, like, Phil and Lamore sent over really good questions, and, Matt skipped some of them. That's fine. But,
Totally
I don't know what you're expecting. I would expect even less answered, so I don't.
Well, no, I wouldn't. I don't like bullshit politician answers. Just say, we don't know at this time. That's it.
Oh.
That's all you have to say.
Sure, sure.
Sorry, I can't answer this. It's up in the air. We don't know.
Right.
Please,
so now let's
don't
get into...
speculate. Like
No,
these
that's
people
our job.
start.
Come on, let's get
because
into
now
this.
from the exactly from the answer he gives, the only conclusion I can come to is that the answer was yes. They plan to go cloud and subscription based. If he just came out and said we don't know yet, I wouldn't have speculated. Now I'm speculating that he was practically saying yes, is from what I can see. So, like.
Okay, so
anyway,
here's my perspective.
Go.
I don't give a shit at all.
You don't get right because you're a KeyCAD man.
Well,
right?
Here's the thing. Like, I mean, like, I still like cannot believe that. Like, of course, we're gonna talk about it on here, right? This is the kind of stuff we talk about. But like, there's so much strife over this. It's like,
well, there should
it's
be.
Not that good of a tool. Like, it's not like
it doesn't matter. It's the de facto standard tool in the open source hardware industry.
Well,
just
obviously,
because
I'm trying to change
you don't
that,
like
but
it,
yes,
I know.
yeah.
Just because you don't like it does not change the fact that it is.
Well, what it feels like to me, I was telling someone this earlier today. It's like, for the longest time, I would hear something about like people talking about Apple products or something like that, and I'd just be like, "What? Stop! Like, why? Why are you talking about this so much?"
Yeah, yeah.
And now, of course,
now
at least my ears.
Right.
Now my ears perk. Now I have a Mac, and at least my ears perk up, right? So at least I'm interested in listening, not participating, but at least listening. And I think that's what it is. It's like now that I'm outside the ecosystem, I don't get it. But I do understand that, when people's everyday workflow tool is impacted, they get a little jumpy, and that's fine. But obviously, I have moved on,
right?
Because I used to use Eagle, and
You hated it, yeah.
No, I didn't hate it. That's the tool I learned on. It was great, but there are so many other options out there. I think it's really comes down to the, like Adafruit puts out great libraries, SparkFun puts out great libraries. It's just baked in. That's what it comes down to. Is that there's a lot of people using it. Yeah,
exactly. So it's a real. So that's why people are jumping up and down, flapping their arms.
Sure. Okay. Well, I would say
this needn't. Oh, go.
Well, I just think that it's a CAD programs are like religion, right?
Oh,
unless,
totally.
What was the name of that? What was the thing we called at the beginning? The qualifying event or something like that, or the life-changing event?
Oh, the catalyst, the life.
Yeah. The catalyst event, right? Whatever that was. Change agent. That's what it was.
Change agent. Yes.
Yeah. Unless you have some kind of change agent in your life, like say you leave a job and you leave your Altium license behind, or you leave your your Pro Eagle license behind, and you were working on used to working on large boards. Unless you have something like that, or you make this very specific decision, like same thing for like even it's not just like Eagle to something else. It's or something like. I wouldn't go and learn Altium either unless I had a contract where I had to learn it. Now, of course, that's self-defeating because how would I ever get a contract if I don't already know Altium? Yeah. But actually, Bob Davison talked about that when he was on the show, I think for the impedance matching episode we did with him and Dave Vandenbout.
I don't recall.
You weren't here.
Right. Well, there you go.
Yeah, right. But he talked about learning Altium specifically because he knew he was going to look at contracts and a lot of the contracts of Altium stuff, right? And that was a conscious decision, though, right? Yeah. And it's not just some like fly-by-night casual thing to switch CAD software, I think, and that's
no,
that's the main thing.
No, it's huge,
right? Yes. And that's why every time anything comes up, it's an argument in a comment section somewhere. So,
right now, this needn't have happened. All this fuss and arm waving needn't have happened because Eagle would have been dead if Altium followed my advice, which they didn't. And now I can say, I told you so.
And now we come to that part of the program, huh?
Yes, where I say I told you so again to Altium.
Yes.
They could have dominated this whole market with their circuit maker.
Yeah, they really could have.
The early advanced copy of Circuit Maker that they showed me was the right had the right direction. I.e.,
Circuit Maker, let's make this clear too. There's
Circuit Maker is their free one. Is their completely free
right.
one with no restrictions whatsoever.
But it's all tied to the cloud.
But it's all tied to the cloud and non-local, and you can't pay, pay to do, whatever, right? It's just stupid, right? Like they went to, there is such a thing as going too far to the free end of the spectrum, right?
Yep.
That it actually made that hardly anyone picked it up, right? And they were going to run with the model. When I saw it, they were almost ready to release it. They were going to run with the model where they would, have you could buy, 8 layers. If you need 8 layers for a month to do an 8-layer board, you can just buy that for a month. And it was it'd be
I still like that idea. I still like that idea.
$50 or whatever, $50 or whatever. And if you need an auto router, you can buy that for a couple of days. It was a great model, and they would have killed it. They would have killed the market and put Eagle out of business in 6 to 12 months, right? If they really played their cards right and seeded the industry with it and everything else.
Sure.
Anyway, so they went and did a 3-tiered solution where they released the completely free Circuit Maker, and then they had this weird middle tier program, Circuit Studio.
Yep.
Right? Which
right,
then
that's the one that you posted about. This is the I told you so.
This is the I told you so. And
right.
And they also did an exclusive deal with Element 14/Farnell where they'd sell it through them, which was just a ridiculous idea. Let's probably not even go there, right? They should have just sold it direct. Dumb. Anyway, they priced that at $3,000 to $4,000. It was the dead zone it was the no man's land of CAD pricing. And I would love to see their figures because I'm sure it's I could probably count them on my hand of the number of people who bought a Circuit Studio license,
right.
And it never would have worked. Everyone screamed that from day one that they announced this thing. Nobody's going to buy this. It is priced way out of the market. No one's going to buy it. They're going to spend double that and go to the full Altium, right? So anyway, I said in my original video it needed to be under $1,000, preferably $500 or something. And sure enough, they haven't formally announced it on their website. If you go there, it's still $4,000. And if you go to the Farnell website, Element 14, it's still $4,000.
Yeah.
But they have apparently, somebody posted on my forum, they have sent an email to all existing users saying we're dropping the price to $995 and with $125, I believe it is, maintenance per year.
Yep.
Hallelujah. That's a decent price point. That is a decent price point. So,
right. And that's competing with competing with
the full version of Eagle's $1,500 or something. So I think the full version of Eagle's even more. Which I keep saying, if you want to do a single-sided board with 2 components on it that are spaced more than 160 millimeters apart, you've got to pay $1,500. It's ridiculous. The Eagle pricing is the dumbest thing in the history of pricing. It's it's just hang on, I'm going to headbutt the mic.
There we go. That was useful.
That leaves a pattern of the metal grill in my forehead.
Right.
Anyway, so yes, that's news. Altium have finally admitted defeat because I'm sure nobody bought it. I have no inside knowledge at all. I don't know what their sales figures are. Got no idea. But I'm guessing it's pretty darn close to zero, just like their $4,000 nano board that I worked on. Right?
Yes. A relic from the past. It's fine.
They literally sold none through DigiKey, and this is public knowledge, by the way. It's not. I didn't actually have access to their sales figures, but you could see it because you could see the stock on DigiKey.
Right, the stock's always the same, right?
Yeah, the stock on DigiKey is always the same. It never went down. Nobody bought one.
Yep.
So it was just, they made some direct sales or something to some idiots, but yeah, anyway. It was crazy. And then they had to slash that. They had to slash that price in half. And then they finally admitted their mistake. And then then we developed the $350 version, the real low cost version. Anyway, yeah, something like that. And that was mildly successful.
Well, I'm going to make one last pitch for KiCad here.
I'd expect nothing less.
If you are feeling in a particularly enlightened mood and you're ready to switch religions, give me a call.
Right.
I'll post a link to the Getting the Blinky. May you see the blinking light.
Well, I have not tried Circuit Studio because I always thought it was the dumbest idea ever. But now I might try it because I will be tempted possibly to buy
save some money
it.
on the whatever.
Yeah, because I won't buy a full Altium license. I don't need it.
Right.
So I simply will not buy a full Altium license.
Right. Why would you? Right.
No. It's absolutely crazy. Right. So, but hey, $1,000 with $125 maintenance a year, that's pretty decent pricing. So that really puts them in the ballpark. So they're now a serious contender. And it's almost coincident. Is it a coincidence or not? I don't know that this Altium announcement came days after the Autodesk Eagle announcement, because that's got to be their number one competitor, right?
I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
It really has to be. So, yeah, this announcement, this email, still not. I don't think it's a public announcement anywhere. It might be by the time this show goes to air, but anyway, they emailed. And said, yeah, $1,000. So, yeah, I'm rather excited by that. I might download it and give it a whirl.
Yeah, give it a shot.
Yeah. Because I have
Dave
to
is never
once
changing
again.
religions. That's what we're hearing here, and
once
we know
again,
that.
once again, I've got to give KiCad another shot. Like I dabbled around with KiCad before they released the new big stable version release. Right. And I have to.
I know you will, but
really, okay,
probably.
Well,
someone said that you should do a reaction video to my my soldering job.
Yeah, I have not seen your soldering.
It's John, pretty bad.
You were doing some SMD soldering?
Yeah, it's just I was doing it super fast under a camera, so
right. Yeah,
I'm not good at soldering. Like I don't know, like the
but people think that I suck at soldering because they've looked at some of the videos I've done soldering, and it's like no, it's just so hard under the camera. I don't like soldering under a camera and pressure, talking at the same time and trying to think and do dialogue. And
there's exactly one thing you should do while you're soldering, and that is listening to the TheAmpHour.
Of course.
So, yes.
I agree. Which now will hopefully, correct me if I'm wrong, be auto-uploaded to YouTube?
Yes, we're going to try that. So it's part of our...
Is it automatic or is it another step?
No, it's automatic. I mean,
it's
it'll
automatic.
Be, yeah. So we already have a YouTube channel. We used to upload stuff, but it was like all the encoding and everything. It got in the way.
It's an extra.
And so
now they do the encoding for us.
Libsyn, our provider.
Yep, our service provider, Libsyn, do that, and they automatically encode a video version of it with a thumbnail. Of course, there is no video.
Yeah, there's no
thumbnail. But so you can listen to the TheAmpHour on the YouTube from now on. We don't know if we can upload back catalog, right?
No, I don't know. So, someone actually emailed me about linking a specific time, and that's not really possible for our stuff currently. So that actually would be really nice for the YouTube thing.
I have not tried it. Can you just drag and drop an audio file to YouTube?
I don't know. Yeah, like an MP3 versus MP4.
Yeah. Because I just discovered yesterday or last week I tweeted this. I just discovered accidentally that you can drag an entire subdirectory of videos to the YouTube upload screen, and it will upload 1,000 videos at once. Or it will schedule 1,000 videos. It was like it took me like 5 minutes to figure out what was happening.
Yeah. My computer is on fire. This is weird.
But yeah, I didn't know you could do that. So hopefully, if you can do that, then if it can upload MP3s directly, then we might be able to drag and drop all previous episodes. That'd be sweet.
Yeah.
So,
speaking of your channel, so you finally published the stuff that you talked to the rover guy about.
Yeah, I still got more stuff on that.
How much total do you have?
I had like 4 hours of material or something, 3 hours of material.
Lord.
It was a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we just kept the camera rolling for 3 hours. I think.
Dang.
So, some of that's already gone on my second channel. There's one clip which I accidentally left out, gone on my second channel. And, the views aren't... Actually, I haven't looked this morning, but the views aren't great. So, I might be pissing off my main channel audience if I spam You know, I've already
Right.
I've already posted 2 in a row. That's in addition to the 2 I've already posted. So, and I could release others like today. But yeah, they're not getting many views. There's not much enthusiasm for it.
That's too bad.
And yeah, anyway,
Oh well.
that's all right. Yeah.
I'm sure we have other things to mention here, but before we get past our time, we are going to be doing a call-in show next week, and I'll obviously post about it. So we'll do it the same way as last time, where we'll just basically, send us an email, and we'll send you a link to the Skype chat, and you can just hop on there, and then basically people figure out who's going to go when, because we do have, different time zones, stuff like that.
Yep.
If you are in Europe or Asia and it's not going to work out time-wise, we usually record about 8:30 p.m. EST, and so that's pretty late over in Europe at least. Send us an email with your question or a video or an audio file, whatever. We'll play it on air and we'll answer it as best we can. So, but yeah,
Cool.
call-in show.
And I did a hangout the other day
Yeah, how'd that go?
with my yes, it went very well. I enjoyed it. I'm going to do more. I did a hangout with my supporters on the Patreon thing. My
Oh,
patrons.
Yeah.
Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
Patrons?
Yeah, I
Yes.
think so. Yep.
Yes. So I did out there, and I don't know, 7 people showed up, which
Oh,
is
nice.
awesome.
So you
Well,
were
it's
answering
only
questions
10
or what was
maximum.
it?
Yeah, I don't know. We're just shooting the breeze,
Oh, cool.
Wasn't, yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, that's
Yeah.
your version of grabbing a beer, right?
Yeah, right.
Just you're doing it over
Yep.
cables.
And
So
no,
that's-
that will not be published. So
Yeah,
know.
that's understandable.
And
It's
there was
part
a
of the
lot of-
patron thing.
a lot of confidential stuff sit on there, So,
Right.
Yeah, so I probably wouldn't have posted it anyway, or I would have
Yep.
edited it, even if I could record it. Hence why I was trying to do Hangout on air the other day for the Juno thing, because regular Hangouts does not save the video and does not
Right,
save it to
exactly.
YouTube. You've got to
Yep.
use Hangouts on air to do that. So,
Yeah, that's
it sucks.
I don't know. Yeah. I think it's better to do it not on air, and then you know what I do I'll tell you about that afterwards. I use XSplit and I just stream stuff directly.
And yeah.
So you don't have people watching it, but I guess you want to do that anyway. So, anywho,
So you use XSplit to record.
I use XSplit to stream, and I can then have Skype
okay.
tie into that. So
So you use
I'll tell you about it after.
Okay.
People don't care about this stuff.
Yes, they
Yeah.
do.
No, they don't.
People ask all the time about that sort of thing.
They don't really care.
All right.
It's so one other announcement. I'm actually going to be in Chicago the weekend of the 15th. So if people want to hang out, so I'll be there 15th to the 17th. And I don't have any meetups planned yet, but I will be around then. Might stop by Pumping Station 1 or stuff in the area. So if people are
Because
interested,
Chris
shoot me an
needs
email.
friends, folks. He
Chris
just,
needs friends. All
he
over
needs
the
more
world, Chris
friends.
needs
Yep.
friends. Yep. Yep. Hey, man. You can never meet enough people. Hey, look, networking is important, but also drinking beer is important.
Right. Okay.
Some people actually find interest or are interested in other people, Dave. Come on, man.
Yeah, fair call. No, I'm.
You
I'm
don't talk
like,
to anyone other than me and sometimes
No.
Fran if the connection
Yep.
works out.
no, that's pretty much it. That's
Yeah.
my entire social circle.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I'm sad.
All right, so what else is on our list? We must have one or two other things that we should talk about since we're running out of time here.
We don't care about the Internet of Things. That's vetoed. Lamore
Oh.
did an interview with the CEO of
I didn't watch it yet. Did you watch it?
DigiKey. I've watched some of it.
Okay.
And it seems to be good. And everyone's saying, yeah, really great interview.
Yeah.
So if you want to know all about DigiKey, then watch that. So
Yeah,
that's
Lamore's
really
been doing some big name interviews like she did Horowitz and Hill, or it was just Paul
Horowitz, yep.
Horowitz,
Yeah,
right?
just Paul.
When
Yep.
was it on there?
No.
But yeah, so that's good. I'll have to check that one out.
Yep.
The Daredevil camera, that thing's been all over the internet, but that thing is amazing.
No,
Did you see that one?
No, I have not heard.
So basically, this person did a matrix of MEMS microphones, and then did an FFT and basically recorded sound bouncing off of things and used that to visualize.
Oh, visualize. I've seen. I've heard about it, but I have not looked at the details of it yet. I
Yeah,
figured that's
it's-
what it was. Just from the title alone, I figured out, they must have a bunch of hundreds of microphones and then doing
I don't think it's
beamforming
hundreds.
FFT.
It looks like yeah.
Oh, really?
But
Okay, all right.
no, it looks like 64.
Oh, well,
is that right?
come on, order. to the right order, it's 100.
Oh, yeah. Definitely more than one, right?
Well, more than 10. Like, 64 is like 2 orders, right? It's like...
Yeah. Well, and I guess then they did tape them together, too. So, yeah, that's true. But, yeah, really, really interesting stuff. Like, I mean, especially because it's all homebrewed and stuff, too. Like, I mean, well, it's not homebrewed. It's professionally... It's nicely laid out and stuff, but really awesome. Awesome
Right.
data.
Speaking of awesome,
Yeah.
and speaking of orders of magnitude,
Okay.
I'm going to plug my own video
Dave just
here.
got 10x more awesome.
I'm going to pat myself on the back here. I was like, I just got the thought yesterday or whatever it was, that I would do a video on orders of magnitude. That'll be, that's an important topic, right?
Sure,
And then
yeah.
I started thinking about how I would, do that. And then I got this warm, fuzzy feeling that maybe I'd talked about it before on a blog somewhere. So I searched YouTube, and sure enough, I've got an orders of magnitude video.
You've already done one, huh?
I've already done it, and I watched it, and it's pretty good.
So getting old, huh, Dave?
And only I can turn, what is orders of magnitude into a 16-minute.
That's a lot of.
But
That's a lot of.
coincidentally, I throw Jupiter in the video. Jupiter's in the video. So there you go. You will have to watch the video to find
Take a
out
loop back.
how I reference Jupiter into a
There you go.
orders of magnitude video.
Yeah.
If you
I
just
think-
want to know what is orders of magnitude, the first 5 minutes covers it. The rest is,
Right.
extra.
I think you
Gravy.
should try and get Eggo to sponsor your channel for the amount
Eggo?
of waffle that you have.
Ego. Who's Ego?
You don't have Eggo waffles? You don't have those?
No.
Lego my Eggo?
No, sorry.
No? I guess
No.
this is a brand thing.
It's a brand
Yeah,
thing.
it's a
Right.
waffle. It's
It's a
a
waffle,
brand of
right,
frozen
okay.
waffle. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, so we'll link that in. It's funny, like I go back and look at these old videos I've done. Hang on. EV blog order magnitude. See how many views it's got. And I look at these old ones. Here we go. It's got 16,000 views, right? And I uploaded it 4 years ago. And it was number 286 for those playing along at home.
Okay.
It was in my new lab. I thought it might have been old lab. But no, it's in the new lab when I first moved in. And it's got like 16,000 views. It's like, and that's having been on my channel for 4 years. And I think it's a pretty good video on a pretty important topic, right? Terminology, what are orders of magnitude and that sort of thing. And, like a lot of my old videos have these low number of views. It's like people haven't gone back and discovered them. Whereas if I upload a new video now, if I re-uploaded that exact same video now, it'd get 50,000 views in, a week. And it's just, it's just strange and a bit
Them's just the breaks, Dave. Them's just the breaks.
I know. You've got so much content out there.
Yeah.
People, I don't like people get like you can't go back and systematically watch my videos, so I understand. It's just
Right.
I don't know, like important videos like that one that I think are important.
Perhaps you should reference them in your other videos. Be like,
Maybe I
see
should.
see the link below. Stuff
Yes,
like that.
I'll have to throw in orders of magnitude into my next video and then
Exactly.
include
right.
thumbnail. Here it is. Yep.
Exactly. There you go.
Yep. I'm doing more of that lately. I'm sort of like linking. I'm getting more into putting more effort into the editing to link things like that in. So you might
Insider
have noticed.
baseball, Dave. Insider baseball, man.
What?
Insider baseball. Like
What's
you're
insider
talking
baseball?
about stuff that YouTube stuff.
Oh,
Insider baseball. It's like
I
people
don't know that
talking about the
term.
game versus talking about the what would it be? Insider baseball is like instead of talking about the baseball game that was being played, they would talk about how the game was scored. Right?
Oh,
or how
okay, right.
Right,
all
like the mechanics of how
right.
bats are made, right? Stuff like
right.
that.
Okay.
I'm sure I'm using that term wrong, but yeah.
All right. Gotcha. All right.
Anyways, we hit our hour. We're good.
Our
We're
time's up.
contractually obligated. Yeah. So
We're gone,
may you
yeah.
all have a change agent or a catalyst in your life and switch to KiCad. And we'll hear about it next week. Call-in show.
Maybe I'll do like a shootout video.
There you go.
KiCad versus Eagle versus the new Circuit Studio, maybe. Although it's not fair because KiCad's free, right? So
It's true. Yep.
you're sticking to KiCad, aren't you? Not
Yeah.
KiCad. Have you noticed that the industry is kind of split down the middle of how they pronounce it?
Usually it's a pretty good indication that they might have been listening to me at some point. So.
Oh, do you think you're the pioneer of Kai CAD?
No, I don't think so, but it's just usually it's
right.
It's easy for me. it's like my purple PCB, you know.
Right. All right.
All right, man. We'll talk to you next week. Don't forget to write in if you want to talk to us on the show next week.
Catch you next time.